I'm coming out!
Bert, come on.
I believe that's called cutting it close.
Welcome to Kit Katastrophe. My name is Kit, and today we'll be taking a look at the Transformers Siege Micromaster Battle Squad. These figures came out in 2019 as part of Wave 5 of the Micromaster assortment. Different from every other Micromaster set released in the Siege line, the Battle Squad, formed from Decepticons Direct Hit and Power Punch, are a Micromaster combiner, which means they each transform into one half of a larger vehicle. In the Battle Squad's case, they transform into a baby blue cannon transport vehicle. For its size, this thing is covered in a large amount of sculpted detail, which really tries to sell this as a functional combat vehicle. My favorite piece of sculpting would have to be the double-barreled cannon molded on the back of Direct Hit, which is also painted gunmetal. Unfortunately, the black paint just before it has begun to chip due to transformation, but I digress. I like that the designers added some extra pretend firepower onto this vehicle, since the low part counts of Micromasters don't usually lend themselves for many vehicle mode features. The main event, of course, is Power Punch's massive purple cannon. It can raise and lower, and a tab molded into the vehicle's armor allows the cannon to be secured in place. Of course, Direct Hit and Power Punch can be separated, as they're only joined by a 5mm peg which folds up on Direct Hit. Direct Hit's half is more believable as a separate vehicle mode, looking something like a small armored personnel carrier or something, though there's a massive gap around the back where his head is visible. Power Punch doesn't exactly look like he'd be autonomous in this mode, since he doesn't have a cockpit or anything. He looks like a regular cannon emplacement with added wheels to be able to cart it around as needed. Before I go into their robot modes, I'll take a look at the Battle Squad's weapon mode, which involves a one-step transformation. Just turn the thing over. Now the Battle Squad have become the LRAP artillery cannon, which utilizes the 5mm post on the tank barrel to serve as a handle. It's a pretty weak weapon mode, but the positive side of this is that it doesn't hamper either of the other two modes. Direct Hit and Power Punch transform like standard Micromasters, bring the arms out from their extremely tight tab connections and fold the legs down. While Power Punch's legs only fold out by 90 degrees instead of the traditional 180, Direct Hit has some extra panels that fold onto his leg cavities to serve as heel spurs, which is where those paint chips come from. What to say about Direct Hit? Well, he's a robot, yeah? This is as basic of a Micromaster as you can get, short of having a car for an alt mode. There's just really nothing inspired going on here. I guess I like those two grates going down his chest that are painted purple, and I sort of like the bronze face, but nothing's really grabbing me here. Power Punch, however, is a laugh. He's a man made of boxes hiding inside yet another box. He's so dopey and flabby that he's actually kinda cute to look at. Get a load of that head sculpt too, being completely featureless and bright yellow. I can't tell if Power Punch wants me to look at it or look away. You know, the most surprising thing about this set is that both of these figures actually have head joints. If you'll excuse me for using a pair of needle-nose pliers for this, considering that the joints are just so tight. But if you take a look at Direct Hit, he can look left and right, and Power Punch can as well. Let's make him look to the right. Look at them, they're looking sideways, that's amazing. As for the rest of their articulation, they're pretty much the exact same. Let's take a look at Power Punch. He has a ball-jointed shoulder that can go 360 degrees forward and backward, and they do have a little bit of an outward range, and they're connected to hinges that can allow for even more outward range. They have ball-jointed hips that can go forward and backwards. They can go more backwards on direct hit because he doesn't have as much back kibble. And on power punch, the knees only bend about 90 degrees, which is alright for a Micromaster. But on direct hit, they are a ball joint so that there is a swivel around the knee, so you do get a little bit of a quote-unquote thigh swivel, and the knee can bend 90 degrees with the kibble flipped into their robot mode position, but if you flip it out, you can bend it even farther, but that's just going back into vehicle mode. So, direct hit, power punch, their articulation's pretty basic. They are Micromasters after all, but they do both have neck joints, so that's pretty cool. Let me just fix that. Yeah, pretty cool. As the Siege line ran its course, I grew less and less invested in the Micromasters. I never really liked any of them that much to begin with. Even Flak, I think, is pretty mediocre, and he's my favorite of the bunch. However, I think the Battle Squad is a pretty solid package in the context of what it came out with. For those of you who may be wondering, no, I won't be getting any Micromasters from Earthrise of my own volition excepting the Astro Squad. The Micromaster Combiners are the only sets worth your time. The Battle Squad is the best Micromaster set in the entire Siege line, so I don't feel too bad giving them the rank of lovely. If you liked this review or otherwise found it helpful or informative, then please subscribe for more reviews like this in the future, and feel free to suggest topics for future reviews. Moving up the scale ladder, my next review will be a little controversial, as it were. This has been Katastrophe. Transform and roll out.